Okay, so I have found my hotline and I've decided to keep that red. It just turned out it made more sense all along. So I am now going to have to strip off a little bit of this material here so that I can put 3 red lines that are going to feed the power to these 3. So to do that, I put a snip on one end, snip on the other, just cutting the insulation with these. Normally you're able to push the insulation out, but for some reason on this one, because it's so thick, it just didn't go so well. So I am simply going to take my razor blade and, watching your fingers and not cutting them, try to slice through the material. Okay, I was able to get this wire trimmed out as you see here. Now I'm creating honestly like a pigtail, and I've already got the soldering iron connected, and then I'm going to put end caps on here, and then I'm just going to run a solid wire back to the main connector. Pretty simple thing. So I'm going to do 2 of these. There'll be one for the relays and one for the switches. That should eliminate any of the issues that I may have. Okay, so now that we have our 2 harnesses, our pigtails, I'm going to simply just solder these together. This will cover the 3 switches and the 3 relays. Everybody has their own soldering technique. Some of us don't really have a technique. Mine is more of a try as you go kind of thing. I have gotten better over time with it. But a lot of that has just been hit or miss. The key is just making sure you got a good solid connection. And then of course we will insulate all of this. And I kind of go in here and clean it up a little bit with the heat. Try to smooth it out a little bit, making sure we're getting full coverage. Okay. That's pretty solid. On to the next one here. These are really hard when you're upside down. That makes it a lot of not fun. All right. Now we're gonna wrap these and start installing. Show you is now I had to make the final connection, which is gonna tie back into the main power. Key thing here is make sure you put the rubber sealant that you're gonna melt on there prior to making the final connection, and it's best to solder this outside the car. It's just much easier. Now, I will have to make the soldering connection inside the car, but I'm making whatever connections I can outside. Then I'm going to strip off the ends and put the caps on. Okay, I'll let those dry. Next, I'm going to make these locations for the caps. 1. 2. 3. And I am going to have to go back to the store and get some more because I do not have enough. go. And that's one. That's two. And now for the final third. There we go. All right, these are ready. These will connect into the relays. This will tie into the main power. All right, so I've taped it up after I did the soldering work. And honestly, it doesn't matter how we plug these in. We just need to make sure we plug these into the same one. So we're gonna plug the power, the direct power, from the battery into 30. Get these all in the proper sequence. All right, so we'll start here. This one will be, all right, that one's in. And then we'll go to blue is next. This one now should go in fairly smoothly. Pop, just like that. So we now have power to our lines to the accessories, and we now have a connection line that we will be able to tie into the main power up here. And we'll make this connection simply by twisting it around. And then after we solder it, hopefully be able to slide that on there. Yep, looks pretty strong. I'm gonna let this cool off because if I slide the sheath over, believe it or not, before it gets all the way through, the heat will force it to constrict before you get a chance to get it all the way on. So now we've got battery power to the relay, wire from the relay to the accessory. Now all we have to do is run a ground wire to the other terminal and the wire from the switch. And then what that will do is when that signal enters into the relay, it will then close that gate, making the connection between 30 and 87 and sending juice to the accessories. See if this is cooled off enough. Yeah. All right, hopefully this is big enough because it's pretty much all I have. It is. Now I'm gonna use my heat gun and we'll shrink this up. All right, now I'll just wrap that in tape. Now the only other connections that I've got to make is going from the main power to the switches. Each switch needs its own power source. So this is ready to go. I'm also going to have to access a source for this as well to tie into the main power. we will cut right here. Well, not cut, but cut the insulation here. There we go. We got it. Now I'll just need to cut a line after these hook to the switches from here back to the main power. And that, probably about 18 inches. And this one does not have a plug on it. It's just like the other one that we did. This wraps around the existing terminal, or the existing wire. And then this one wraps back to the main power. So what I'll do is I'm going to go ahead and solder this one up, tape these up, and this is ready. Okay, so I am just about done. It won't look like it when you see it, but I went ahead and made a couple of more pigtails. These are for the grounds. So now we have power going directly to the relays, a power pigtail which needs to be hooked up to the switches, and of course we were short some clips, so I had to go get some more of those. And we've got the wires directly to the accessories, okay, already done. So all this in the left is I'm going to hook up the grounds to the relay, run the wire from the switches to the relays. At that point in time, we should be good. Those wires are going to be individual wires, just 3, and they have the clips on both ends. So it's pretty fast. So let me get back to work and putting these end caps on, and we'll take it from there.